Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to show you the simple and delicious southern treat that is chicken and dumplings. I'm going to show you the easy way to do it, and it's also going to be restaurant quality. So join me. What you need for the recipe is you need butter. I use unsalted. You need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to need equal parts of green pepper and white onion, and that's about a 1/2 cup of green pepper, a 1/2 cup of white onion. Then you're going to need a cup of celery and a cup of carrot. Now, celery and carrots are the dominant vegetables in this dish. And here's my shortcut for my cup of chicken. I'm going to use a can of all white meat chicken. You can use a cup of any chicken you have, leftover rotisserie, canned, whatever floats your boat. We need chicken bouillon for flavoring. We're going to use a pinch of turmeric. We need a pinch of salt. We need cornstarch. We need garlic powder. We need non-dairy creamer, and we need black pepper. Those are the ingredients you need for chicken and dumplings. And the only other thing you need is plenty of cold water. So for the first step, we're going to start with the dumplings. And I'm going to show you the simple way to do the dumplings. Okay, so you're going to start by seasoning this 1 cup of flour you have right here. Okay, so I'm going to season the flour with a little bit of chicken bouillon. Just a sprinkle of chicken bouillon. I'm going to season it with some garlic powder. Just like that. Next, I'm going to season it with a pinch of salt. So you need that much salt for 1 cup, because remember the bouillon also has salt in it. Sprinkle it throughout, okay? Then the last piece of seasoning for the dumplings is going to be black pepper. Okay, don't skimp on the seasoning, because the dumplings are the integral part of the dish. It's one of the few things that separates chicken and dumplings from regular old chicken soup. All right, so now we're going to take a 1/2 cup of melted butter. So 1/4 a cup of melted butter. Let me melt my butter, and I'm going to show you that step. Okay, so I'm just going to break it off right here and melt it down. Now, dumplings do require a little bit of fat, but not a whole lot, okay? And I'm just going to eyeball it, just like that. That is enough for 1 cup. All right, so let me melt my butter, and then I will show you that step. Okay, so it won't be long until the butter is completely melted, and then we're going to go ahead and incorporate that into the flour. All right, so while the butter is melting, let me bring you back over here, and I'm just going to incorporate all of these seasonings into the flour, and I'm just using my hands. This is the way your great grandmother used to do it, okay? You just incorporate everything evenly into the flour. All right, so you can't really tell what seasonings are in, because everything is blended so well. And this is the stage that's super important. You must taste your flour. Okay, so I'm just going to take a pinch of flour and put it on my tongue to make sure there's enough seasoning in the flour. Because if there's not enough seasoning in the flour, there's not going to be enough seasoning in the dumplings. My dumpling seasoning could use a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt is all that's needed. All right. Now my fourth stick of butter is melted. I'm going to drizzle that all over the flour, okay? All right, perfect. Perfect. That little bit of fat left in the pan is perfect for the next step, which is sauteing the veggies. All right. So now you just get in there with your hands and you mix all the butter and flour together, okay? One of the key differences between dumplings and noodles is the fat and the lack of egg, okay? So you see it's starting to make little clumps of butter and flour, fat and goodness. So you want to keep going like that. Okay. Now that it's all mixed up thoroughly, you got your crumbly, buttery flour situation and your well-seasoned flour situation, then you're going to proceed to add cold water. Now, I'm just going to bring over a little container of water and I'm going to keep going until it feels like the right consistency. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little bit of cold water, just like that, and then I'm going to mix with my hands. And this is actually looking like just enough water. And remember, you can always add more flour if you need to. But it should be a Play-Doh consistency. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Make sure all those dry bits are incorporated by hand into those moist bits. This is culinary magic right here. The dumpling. So I'm just pressing and kneading to get all the dry bits incorporated. All right, let me get in there with both hands and try to get this moisture wicking property of the flour to do what it needs to do. Okay. All right. And this feels like the perfect consistency for a dumpling. It's not completely dry. It's not sticking to my hand, but it's still pliable, okay? That is the right consistency for your dumplings. And of course, anytime you're dealing with a dough, you want to let it rest before you proceed to the next step. Okay, but the dumpling batter is done. The dumpling dough is done. All right, let me set that aside and proceed to the next step. One of my favorite steps is sauteing vegetables. All right. Okay, so I have my pot and there's a little bit of butter remaining in the pot. And I'm just going to add a pinch more. This is comfort food, so butter is required. Okay. Next, to give it that restaurant quality vibe, I'm going to add a pinch of turmeric powder. That's for color only. So I'm adding this much turmeric. And I'm putting it right there in with the butter. Okay. Next, I'm going to take all these beautiful vegetables. Oh my God. Okay. Now that I have my vegetables in the pot, I must season my vegetables. Seasoning for the vegetables is pretty simple. Salt, a healthy shake of chicken bouillon all over those veggies. Okay. Black pepper. Okay. Then you're going to get your garlic powder action, just a sprig all over those veggies. All right. Those veggies are releasing so many aromatics. So now that that is going, I'm going to just stir it, get the butter coating all of the veggies. And then we're going to add plenty of water. All right. All right. So the butter is coating all of the vegetables and they're doing what they do and just getting tender. They're getting nice and tender. While they're getting nice and tender, I'm going to add my chicken. And I've drained the chicken and I'm going to put it in here and just chop it up with my spoon, okay? This is going to be good. All right, now just break it up a little bit. Of course, if you had fresh chicken stock, it would be even better. But, you know, this is 2021 and shortcuts are fine. That's where the bouillon comes in to give it that deep, rich flavor. And you want to basically break down your chicken so that it's the size of what will fit on a spoon, okay? Okay, so that's canned chicken. Quick and easy, right? I'm going to add another sprig of chicken bouillon just to make sure that chicken has that optimal slow cooked and jazzy flavor. All right, looking good. Now I'm going to add my water. Okay, and you want this on a rolling boil. You want it on a rolling boil. You see that broth? It's looking wonderfully and golden just because of a pinch of turmeric, okay? So you're just letting things get nice and soft. The water must be boiling. And after about 15 minutes, your veggies are going to be nice and soft. And when your veggies are nice and soft, that's when you add your dumplings. So I'm going to see you guys in 15 minutes and show you what the softened veggies look like. So it's been 15 minutes and I have the broth and veggies and chicken and season it at a rolling boil. Simultaneously, the dough for the dumplings has been resting. Now you never add your dumplings unless the broth is at a rolling boil. Let me show you how to do the dumplings and get them just wonderful. And we're going to do it quick and easy. And we're going to skip the rolling pin. All right. So we're going to skip the rolling pin. I'm just going to take just a smidge of my dumpling dough. And I'm going to roll it out. And I'm going to press it flat. I'm going to roll it out and press it flat. Now you could use a rolling pin if you insist, but that's just one less thing to clean, okay? Let me do a few more and then we're going to drop them in. So I'm just going to roll it and I'm going to press it flat, okay? Rolling pin is fine. This way is fine too. It's all going to be delicious because we seasoned the dumplings and the broth. All right. So now when you get to this stage, you want to cut them in spoon size pieces, okay? You see they're nice and thin, not too big, not too thick. All right. All right. Same thing up here. Press it, press it, press it, and cut it. All right. So I'm going to repeat this process with several more pieces of dough, okay? And then we're going to drop them into the boiling seasoned broth, okay? Just roll it and press it flat. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, now that all these are looking good, let me get ready to start dropping them. If anything is feeling too thick or too much, just tear it apart, okay? And I can tell right now this is not enough dumpling, so let me do a few more pieces. And this extra dumpling dough can be frozen perfectly, okay? Okay. Anything too big, just cut it in half. Booyah. All right. So I have my dumplings right here, ready to go, and I can always add more. And then I have my broth. And then I'm just going to dump the dumplings in just a few at a time to make sure nothing is stuck together, okay? All right, now this is another important step. Do not touch the dumplings. You want to let them cook and set. You don't want them falling apart. Just let the boiling water do what it's supposed to do. Do not touch, do not stir. So your dumplings are going to cook in 3 to 5 minutes, all right? And they're going to be floating super nicely when they're done. Now you can add as many dumplings as you like, but I like, the broth to be a major highlight of the dish as well. Alrighty, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to see you In 5 minutes after the dumplings have finished boiling and are floating in the top and looking plump and semi-translucent, okay? Now, you can see this one right here. These are really starting to cook up nicely, but they need a few more minutes. We got the float action. All right. Let me let them thoroughly cook. Nobody wants to bite into raw flour. All right, so let that go for 5 minutes. All right. These dumplings have been cooking for 5 minutes. And you see how they're floating? And I'm just going to pick up a couple of spoons for you. And as you can see right here, the dumplings have started releasing some of the butter. That's going to be so good. And every spoonful you pick up should have a little bit of everything in it. You know it's perfect because you can't really tell the chicken from the dumpling. Let me try the front. Okay, look at that. You can't tell the chicken from the dumpling. Let me try another scoop right in the middle. Everything is looking great. And I've already done a taste test of the broth to make sure that the salinity was accurate and it does not need any more salt, and the celery is slapping everything it needs to slap. Now for the final step, we're going to thicken and color the soup. And to thicken and color the soup or chicken and dumplings, we're going to be using cornstarch, water, and non-dairy creamer. Okay, anytime you're dealing with cornstarch, you want to use cold water. So I have about that much that much cold water. Then I'm going to add about 1/4 of a cup of non-dairy creamer. And you can eyeball this. You can eyeball that. Okay, that looks like about 1/4 of a cup. Now I'm going to add maybe a tablespoon of cornstarch, okay? And I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, there we have it. Now I'm going to blend it until it's super smooth, all right? Cornstarch, non-dairy creamer, and cold water. We have that going on right there. And you also need to maintain that boil of the soup at this stage. Okay, that boiling is a super important step because cornstarch is not going to work if you don't have the boil. Okay. All right, so you're going to add this slurry into the dumplings and chicken. And you're going to continue to stir it. While it's boiling, it's going to reach its nice thickening point. And that should take about 5 minutes. 5 minutes of stirring and boiling. All right. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Look at just the broth. Just the broth is like a liquid hug. Okay. I'm gonna show you the finished product in 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes of stirring and boiling. Okay. See you in a minute. 5. And if it needs to be thicker after 5 minutes, you just repeat the cornstarch, cold water, and non-dairy creamer method with less water until you get that viscosity that you desire, okay? I'm going to see you in 5 minutes for the final product. So it's been 5 minutes, and this is what it's looking like. Fix it, Jesus. Look at that. Look at that. And to me, soup or the stew is the proper consistency when it coats the back of your spoon, and you can mark a line. Let me show y'all one more time. When you dip it in, turn your spoon around, and if it can leave a line, that's the perfect viscosity. Let's turn this off and have a taste. Oh my God, it's so good. I did take a swig from my finger after I marked the spoon. It tastes like great, 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 great grandma. Oh, fix it, Jesus. The celery and the chicken and the carrot and the onion and the dumpling is just so delicious. Look at that. Every spoon is delicious. Let's have a taste on camera so I can prove to you why I'm the culinary extraordinaire. Look at this. Look at that. And let me save yourself some taste buds. Use a plastic spoon when you're tasting soup. Oh my God, where do I start? Let me start with the dumpling and the broth. Mm. Mm-hmm. Now let me get a little bit more of everything. The dumpling is stupendous. Mm-hmm. It hits your teeth just right. The toothsomeness is everything in this dumpling. Mm. I wouldn't even put a cracker crumb on this. It doesn't need any other textural elements because the celery has a crisp, the dumplings have a toothsomeness, and the chicken has a tenderness. And then you get that soft and creaminess from that broth. Oh my God. Mm. The dumplings are so good you don't even need the chicken. I hope you try this. Thank you for watching.